we are going to start with a new subject, that is Introduction to Deep Learning. This subject is a very interesting subject, we can say, and it is gaining a lot of hype these days. Let us talk about it, that what is deep learning actually. Deep learning. It is basically a subset of machine learning, which in turn is a subset of artificial intelligence. So if we look at the broader view, we can say the main thing is artificial intelligence, in which we use machine learning, and machine learning, a subset of it is deep learning. So let us first understand that what is this artificial intelligence. Basically, artificial intelligence means designing a computer system which has some intelligence. Artificial we are saying because it is not natural. We are designing such a system. So that is why we call it artificial. Intelligent because we are putting some form of intelligence into it, like we humans do have. Humans are intelligent. Same way we are trying to build some computer systems, some machines which are intelligent just like us. So that is why this whole stream, artificial intelligence, is the designing of computer system which have some form of intelligence. So that is what is artificial intelligence. Now, for designing such a system, we need machine learning. The way we learn, every day we learn something new from the environment because we are possessing some form of intelligence. Same way, our machines or computer systems that we are designing, they have to learn. So for learning process, we have a subject that is called machine learning. And if we go into deeper part of it, if we go into the deeper part of machine learning, we reach to the deep learning. So that is how deep learning evolved. Let us talk about exactly what is the definition of deep learning. So deep learning, it is based on the branch of machine learning, which is a subset of artificial intelligence. Basically, it is a type of machine learning based on artificial neural network in which multiple layers of processing are used to extract progressively higher level features from data. Look, what is happening exactly? We as a human, this deep learning is based on how we learn. We have a brain in which we have billions of neurons. These neurons, they receive the signal from the environment and accordingly they act. Same way, we are trying to develop an artificial neural network. In the same way, our brain functions. Same way, we are designing our neural network. This is called artificial net or artificial neural network. So, in which we have neurons in our brain, in the very similar way, we are having layers in this neural network. We have nodes in this neural network. They take certain input, they process that input and they further deliver us the results. So basically, deep learning is a type of machine learning which is based on artificial neural network in which multiple layers of processing are used. We can say, to extract progressively higher level features from data. We have certain data, processing of that data takes place and we get to have the higher level features. So that is how this neural network exactly functions. We create an artificial structure called an artificial neural net, where we have nodes, or these nodes we can also call neurons. We have some neurons for the input value. There are some neurons which are functioning just for the sake of taking the input. Then we have some for the output value. And in between there will be lots of neurons interconnected in the hidden layer. What they are doing? They are processing the data. So the structure is like, we have the input layer, we have the hidden layer which are performing all the processing function, and then we have the output layer. These technologies, they hinge on the ability to recognize the patterns. Then, based on the data observed in the past, they predict the future outcomes. Like, you may be wondering that when you shop something, like you are doing some shopping, online shopping on Amazon, you click on certain product and there comes a list of recommended products for you. So many products come up which are matching to your requirement. So how does it happen? How does this site knows that what you're thinking or what you may need or what you want? So it is basically because there are a lot of algorithms working behind it which are exactly based on deep learning. And this deep learning helps them to recognize, to tell what all products this customer may want. You must be listening to songs on Spotify. You click on certain songs. Suppose you like some song. Similar to it, a list of songs appears that you may like. So how does this happen? This is again based on deep learning. So this subject of deep learning, this is working all around us. Whenever we are working on a system, we are watching TV. Suppose we are watching Netflix. So what is happening? You click on certain movie, and suppose that movie is a comedy movie. So a list of movies appear that are comedy movie or that are having the same actors which you are liking, the movie of which you have clicked on. So this all happens because of deep learning algorithms which are working behind all these systems. So now you may understand that what is the importance of this subject, deep learning. Coming to the functioning of this neural network. Neural network, they are layers of nodes. They are much like the human brains. It is made up of neurons. Similar to it, we are creating this artificial neural network in which we are having the layers of nodes. Nodes, we can also call, if you want to call it biologically, we can call them neurons. These are basically systems. These are basically nodes which are performing the functions of inputting the data or outputting the data or processing the data. Nodes with individual layers, they are connected to the adjacent layers. The network, it is said to be deeper based on the number of layers it has. We will understand exactly the architecture of this neural network. Before that, you should understand that what all is there. We have the input layer, we have the output layer, in between we have certain hidden layers. The more of hidden layers there are, the more of depth we can say, the more of processing we can say is taking place. So the more of depth, the more of processing, it is based on the number of layers that your neural network is made up of. A single neuron in the human brain, if we have a single neuron in our brain, it receives thousands of signals from other neurons at a particular point of time. In an artificial neural network, signals, they travel between the nodes and assign corresponding weights. What happens? There are signals which are forwarding from one node to another, which are moving from one node to another, and they're also assigning some weight to it. A heavier weighted node will exert more effect on the next layer of nodes. If you have a heavier node, which has heavier node, how it becomes heavier? If more weight is attached to it. So this will exert more effect on the next layer of the nodes. We can understand it in our terms. Suppose you're standing on a mountain and you're viewing down, you're just looking at a view down. What all you will see? You might see a river flowing. You might see some animals like deers or birds or something moving. You might see lots of trees. Now, what grasps your attention more? That means that has more weight. As soon as you look at that view, your attention first of all goes to the river which is flowing. That means it has more weight. It has reached to your brain first. Then you look at the animals which are moving there. So that means they have next weightage. Then there are a number of trees which are common for all. So we give it a lesser weight. So the more the weight, that means the more effect on the next layer of nodes. That is how it functions. We are giving more weightage to the river, so that means it will be there in our brain first of all, and we will remember it for long. Similar is the function of neural network that we are building. The more the weight, the more effect it will be having on the next layer of nodes. Then the final layer, it compiles the weighted input to produce an output. Now our final layer, we have taken some input, then we have assigned the weights to it, certain processing has taken place into our brain. Now we want to show the result also. We want to show the output as well. So the final layer, it compiles the weighted inputs to produce an output. So similar to our human brain, similar is a functioning of this artificial neural net. So basically neural network, it consists of a layer of nodes like our human brains. Nodes with the individual layers, they are connected to the adjacent layer. Every layer is connected to the adjacent layer. The network which has more number of layers will be more deeper definitely. A single neuron in the human brain, like it receives thousands of signals from other neurons. In an artificial neural networks, signals travel between the nodes and assign the corresponding weight. So a heavier weighted node will exert more effect on the next layer of nodes. The final layer, it compiles the weighted inputs and finally it produces the output. So that is how this neural network functions. We have basically, if we talk about neural network, we have three architectures, three ways in which we can build our neural network. The very first one is the deep neural network. It is a neural network which incorporates the complexity of a certain level, which means several numbers of hidden layers are encompassed in between the input and the output layer. We are calling it deep neural network because we have a certain level of complexity, which means several number of hidden layers are encompassed in between the input and the output layer. We have the input layer, we have the output layer. We are calling it a deep neural network because we have number of hidden layers in between. So that is why it is called deep neural network. That is the first basic architecture of neural network. Second one is deep belief network. A deep belief network. It is a class of deep neural network that comprises of multiple layer belief network. Now, what is this belief network? We call it belief net also. We have a whole topic in the upcoming units about that what is belief net. So basically, for now, you understand that a belief network, it is a class of deep neural network only, and it comprises of multi-layer belief network. So that is another form of architecture that we can have. That is called deep belief network. Now coming to the third one, we have recurrent neural network. It permits basically parallel as well as sequential computation. We are talking about like we have input layer, we have certain hidden layers, and we have the output layer. We are moving in a sequence, but there may be a point that we want our parallel computation. Recurrent neural network, if we talk about, in this we have sequential computation as well as we have parallel computation. And it is exactly similar to that of human brain. There are large feedback networks of the connected neurons. Since they are capable enough to reminisce all the imperative things related to the input they have received. So recurrent neural network, they become more precise. In this recurrent neural network, what is the difference? Earlier we were talking about only the sequential computation. In this, we have sequential as well as parallel computation. So this is how our brain functions. Computation take place in the form of parallel as well as sequential form. So similar is the functioning. Based on that only we have designed this recurrent neural network, because they are capable enough, they reminisce all the necessary things, all the imperative things which are related to input. So that is why this recurrent neural network, they become more precise if we compare them to the earlier neural network architectures.